Greyhound passengers stranded.
I was crying. I was scared. I'm not from there.
Fox 17 News digs deeper into what some say is the root cause of growing issues with Greyhound.
As her mom, I don't feel like that's justice.
A mother cracks her own daughter's murder case. Why she says the system failed her again.
Nashville's mayor pressing the pause button on license plate readers. How his own neighborhood is getting around this.
Setting up shop in Tennessee. How these crooks fly under the radar.
And cabinet construction. Why members of the president-elect's own party aren't backing all of his picks. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with breaking news as Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says not to expect last week's interest rate cut to become a monthly occurrence. He says the Fed will move slowly and deliberately, in his words, in the coming months. The central bank's goal is a 2% annual rate of inflation. Now, speaking today in Dallas, Powell says inflation is edging closer to that, but we're not there yet. Some economists expect the Fed to announce another 0.25% cut next month, but what happens after that is far less clear.
I cried for probably 3 hours straight until I finally calmed down.
Continuing coverage of nightmare stories from Greyhound passengers after Fox 17 News first showed you this video of stranded bus passengers in Jackson. Dozens reached out to us with similar stories.
Well, tonight, a transportation expert tells Fox 17 News what he believes is to blame. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller in studio now with more on what she has uncovered.
Well, Scott, Megan, I'm going to show you some of the Greyhound bus stations that we know of that have closed across the country. Let's take a look. There were 2 in Cincinnati, 2 also here, 1 in Tampa.
Nancy Dieters was traveling from Hinesville, Georgia to Kissimmee, Florida on Monday and says her bus was loading up in a gas station parking lot.
When I was trying to load my bags onto the bus driver was very rude and mean and yelled at me.
Dieters says the bus driver did not let her on because of an argument.
I was crying. I was scared.
She says she was left at a gas station in the middle of rural Georgia. This is just one of many horror stories that Fox 17 News is digging into. Fox 17 News has reached out to Greyhound every day this week for answers. A transportation expert who wishes to remain anonymous says Greyhound was sold to a German company called Flixbus. The expert says Flix did not buy any of the bus terminals from the former owners, the first group. So then they were given a 30 days notice to find other locations for a bus station since they were selling those properties.
The drivers have not had the opportunity to be trained on where a bus stop actually is, and in many cases that bus stop is changing maybe 2 to 3 times in a few months period.
Which is causing chaos.
Where they left a beautiful terminal in Knoxville and they moved to a gas station which was not open at night, so people were being dropped off in the middle of the night at a closed gas station.
A practice the transportation expert says the city of Knoxville shut down. A transportation professor at DePaul University says it's becoming a trend.
The last thing you want, bus lines just moving to a curb and where there's not facilities. Unfortunately, we're seeing that in some cities.
Which is a big reason Dr. Joe Schwieterman says why drivers are confused and why passengers are concerned for their safety.
Now, some of the cities that are expanding their terminals and are doing great include Boston, New York City, and Atlanta. Dr. Schwieterman says this is because they have stations. These stations have support from state and city. Reporting live from in studio, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. You can see the entire video of the passengers, 4 of them, including a baby, left behind at the gas station over in Jackson, Tennessee, on the Fox Nashville YouTube channel. And while you are there, please subscribe.
And these charges are so low.
A mid-state mother credited with discovering her daughter's death was not a suicide, and she is furious tonight. She's outraged that her accused killer pleaded guilty to reckless homicide, not murder. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live in front of the AA Birch building downtown after tracking this story for weeks now.
Yeah, Megan, she had previously told us that she wanted to increase the charges, and then we have this result, which is not a good outcome, she says. Jamie Dickerson tells me Donovan Holt pleading guilty to the charges is a slap in the face. She tells me he deserved a first-degree murder charge for what happened to her daughter, April.
Have a great day on purpose.
It's been 5 months since Metro Police say April Holt was strangled by her husband, Donovan Holt. Investigators say it happened at their home on Cane Ridge Parkway. A grand jury indicted Holt on reckless homicide, evidence tampering, and false reporting charges. Wednesday, he pleaded guilty to all three.
It makes me upset because I wanted them increased. These charges are ridiculous.
April's mom, Jamie Dickerson, solved her daughter's murder. It was first ruled a suicide by the medical examiner and Metro Police.
And this is just another slap in the face of, hey, we're going to halfway do our job. We're not even going to charge him with what he should be charged with.
Dickerson had wanted a child endangerment charge since April and Donovan shared a child. She also wanted the reckless homicide charge to be first-degree murder, which would carry a longer sentence. Holt claims he accidentally killed April during a sex act gone wrong.
I don't believe any of that. Why did you go in the living room and eat lunch like nothing was happening, that your wife is in another room dead, and then you send your son in there?
The DA's office tells me they objected to the plea, the judge overruling the objection. Dickerson is upset. This was the outcome after all her hard work.
As her mom, I don't feel like that's justice.
Dickerson is opening her grief center in memory of April Holt over the weekend. This is to promote healing. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. You noticed in Karen's live shot she had a jacket on. It's kind of, for the first time in a while, getting where you almost need a little something.
It looked cold out there.
Just wait. I love it when we play this game.
The chief meteorologist loves that.
Yeah.
Just wait.
You just wait. Yes, we are going to be talking about, it is chilly out there, but we're going to be talking about the potential for even colder air to arrive about a week from today. So we do have some time in between now and then, but there are some signals there that we're watching closely. Much colder air that could be on the way going into next week. We start though with a look here from our Metro Center camera. We're still looking at cloudy skies, and we'll maintain a mostly cloudy sky as we head through the overnight tonight. The cloud covers really hung around for much of the day today, and it still is with us. This is our satellite that we're looking at. So this is all low-level cloud deck that will eventually erode as we head into the morning hours. The temperatures overnight should drop back into those mid-40s. Nashville around 46, Clarksville 45, mid to lower 40s as we head out towards the Cumberland Plateau and Upper Cumberland region. As we head out the door for tomorrow, we are looking at, again, those mid-40s in Nashville will likely hang in that category, mid to upper 40s throughout the morning hours as you're getting ready to go to work for the morning. We are going to be looking at more sunshine as we head through the day, but a cool afternoon for Friday. We'll have that, plus a look ahead at a beautiful weekend. We are tracking some more showers going into the early part of next week, and the big temperature swing that I was alluding to a little bit earlier. We'll talk more about the potential for a big cool down headed our way, all coming up.
The mayor of Nashville still won't fund LPRs, already approved by council, already being used all over Middle Tennessee with great success. We try to pin him down once again, while at the same time, his own neighborhood wants LPRs. The story's next.
Well, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell refusing to roll out already approved license plate readers for the Nashville Police Department. For months, the mayor says the policy isn't right, but won't say exactly what needs to be changed.
Now, meanwhile, police departments and neighborhoods all over the mid-state are using these LPRs successfully to fight crime. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier tonight continuing his investigation.
The mayor keeps saying the same thing. The policy isn't right. The policy isn't right. But here's the thing. We can't pin him down on exactly what the problem is with the policy. At the same time, his own neighborhood wants LPRs. For weeks, we pressed the mayor. Why won't you fund LPRs? The council approved them. What's taking so long?
Mayor, we've been talking about LPRs since.
Seems like the only thing you talk about.
Well, no, I mean, you talk, there are a lot of other issues, but I mean, this remains unresolved.
While the mayor continues to wait for the perfect LPR policy, his own neighborhood, Salemtown, says it is suffering too much crime and needs LPRs. Salemtown Neighborhood Association President Cindy Edwards.
We've had a lot of break-ins in the cars. We had so many incidents where, some days we come up with, we get 15 to 20 different where the windows are snapped. I know they're just looking for whatever they can grab, but still, it's a lot of damage for the people who own those cars.
While Salemtown considers LPRs, others are putting them in right now.
Springfield, Cross Plains, Richland Park, 2 neighborhoods in Vanderbilt, 2 neighborhoods in Hermitage are putting LPRs in. It doesn't feel, and not just me, like this is an earnest effort to get this policy in place. It just shouldn't take this long.
I'm sorry it doesn't feel that way, Dennis, but we have prioritized it. It's why we started working on it in our first year. We have policy under development. We work closely with the Metro Nashville Police Department on a calendar. They advised us and we agreed that we would work through FUSIS, which will be under consideration at the next Metro Council meeting, and then we will take feedback we receive from them.
It's not like there's some kind of new experimental technology. The city of Belmead was the first community in Middle Tennessee to use license plate readers. Almost a decade later, you'll be hard-pressed to find a single complaint. All they've done is identify stolen cars and help arrest dangerous felons like this man who lost his stolen gun while running down the street.
Our LPRs are used for stolen vehicles, stolen tags, amber silver alerts, BOLOs, and people that have active warrants. That's what our camera systems are used for.
And everyone else goes on their merry way?
Goes on their merry way.
Mount Juliet just recovered 6 stolen guns from Nashville with LPRs, stolen cars almost every week.
The only reason we got into LPRs is because we were overwhelmed by criminal suspects stealing cars in Nashville. They were coming to our community and breaking into cars, stealing cars, and also looking for guns that were left unsecure in vehicles. We had to find a solution.
Solution? Soak these numbers up. Mount Juliet reports a 50% decrease in vehicle burglaries, a 40% decrease in stolen cars. Every week we ask the mayor when. Every week he says we are in negotiation with the police department. But here's something you don't know. The chief negotiator for the mayor's office is Dave Rosenberg, a former councilman who once passed legislation banning all cameras forever in Davidson County, a man who admittedly never wanted LPRs, never.
We have people who disagree about policies all the time, who express skepticism implementing them. It's been a history of not just Nashville, but the democratic process. So we are committed to getting this done. Dave has worked very closely and well with our Metro Nashville Police Department. He is part of our legislative affairs team, and we will get it done.
Meanwhile, we could barely get through our interview in the mayor's neighborhood. People stopping and telling us, please keep pushing.
Hey, stay on Freddie O'Connell about them LPRs.
Frustration? People just don't get it.
I don't see any negative in it. I see it helping the people. I see it helping the police. If you're doing something wrong and you get caught, you deserve to get caught. Don't do something wrong.
At the end of my last encounter with the mayor, he said LPRs would be approved by the end of the year. We will have more stories and more questions until that becomes a reality. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, we are looking at a chilly night ahead with temperatures dropping into those mid-40s. Still, though, a very pretty shot here from our Nissan Stadium camera with the mainly cloudy sky that we still have around this evening. But beautiful lights here of downtown Nashville. We're almost to the weekend, so I thought we would just start with the weekend forecast. A nice weekend ahead, especially given the time of year. We're looking at temperatures in the mid-60s for Saturday. Sunday, we're around 70 degrees, keeping in mind that our average high for this time of year is around 61, 62. So very nice weekend ahead. Get out and enjoy it while you can. We will have those cool, crisp nights as well, but most importantly, dry if you have weekend plans. Here's a look at the current setup. We've got an area of low pressure off the Carolina coastline. All the showers going along with it, and we are left with dry conditions as we head into the weekend all the way through Monday. Monday night into Tuesday, that's when we will start to flip the switch with a fairly active pattern moving in. A pretty busy week next week. We're going to start with the chance for showers and the potential for some thunderstorms. Along with that, some pretty breezy winds. There may be, it looks like, two fronts that'll be coming through, one on Tuesday and then another one coming in potentially Wednesday, Thursday. Timing's still a little up in the air, and that will be the one that has the cold air behind it. So rain chances for next week, showers and some thunderstorms possible. I do think we're looking at some fairly breezy winds as well. We could see some gusts in the 30s. So you'll want to make sure that you can anchor down any of those Christmas decorations that you have up already. Friday, temperatures remain in the 50s, right around 60 for the afternoon. We're going to keep skies partly to mostly cloudy. It'll feel a little cool, in fact, with those low 60s, but we are good as far as the evening goes for tomorrow night into Saturday and Saturday night. We'll roll right through Sunday. Sunday evening into Monday, we're going to be watching this system coming in out of Texas pretty closely. This will be the first batch of rain showers that we expect going into Tuesday, and expecting quite a bit of wind out of this system as well. There's a secondary system back here that we'll be watching also. It could bring us some showers and thunderstorms going into even Thursday, and behind that one is going to be the one where we see the big cool down headed our way. We'll talk more about that. We're also watching the tropics very closely with Tropical Storm Sarah that has been named. We'll have all that coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Donald Trump's cabinet picks are turning heads on Capitol Hill. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the latest coming up.
Politics tonight, President-elect Trump's cabinet picks continue to raise concern among some leaders in Congress, and that includes some Republicans.
Fox 17 News' Matt Gelka taking a closer look, and we want to know what you think. You can scan the QR code to take part in our viewer poll.
Donald Trump turning some heads with his picks for key cabinet positions. Fox News host Pete Hegseth tapped for the Defense Department, and former Democrat turned MAGA star Tulsi Gabbard was picked to head up national intelligence.
Tulsi is an illustration of peace through strength with an understanding, a populist view.
He's challenging the norms, and he's saying, in effect, if you don't like this is the way it's going to be.
But perhaps the most controversial pick is now former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz as Trump's Attorney General.
Elections have consequences. He chose Matt Gaetz. Matt will come before the committee, and he will be asked hard questions.
Gaetz himself was investigated by the Justice Department he could soon be in charge of as they looked into allegations of a sexual relationship between Gaetz and a 17-year-old girl. No charges were filed. Gaetz was also the subject of a House ethics investigation over the allegations while he led the charge on ousting former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
I would hope there wouldn't be another Matt Gaetz in the Republican Party. I mean, paying underage women, the other people who are involved in that are in jail.
And it's now possible Gaetz's controversies could make it an uphill battle for him in the Senate's confirmation process.
I don't know Mr. Gaetz from Adam, so I've read about press reports and that sort of thing, but I'd rather get the information myself.
I can name between 5 and 10 Republicans who are seriously considering voting against this nomination and insisting that there be a vote.
The findings of Gaetz's ethics investigation were potentially set to be released soon. His resignation stops the inquiry. Democrats have already called for the ethics investigation on Gaetz to be released, and there's speculation it could be leaked ahead of the nomination process. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
Now, during that story, we had a QR code up on screen linking you with a poll that asked if you think Donald Trump is headed in the right direction as he fills out the cabinet, builds his administration. 1,125 votes are in, and 85.2% say yes, we think he's moving in the right direction. 14.8% say no. Our thanks for all who took time to cast a vote.
Well, a dangerous gang setting up shop in Tennessee. How members are flying under the radar.
We're out here at the Nashville Zoo. It looks amazing out here. This is the Nashville Zoo's Zoolumination. So coming up, we'll tell you how many lanterns you can expect to see if you come out here.
Be on the lookout for just every gang, because at some point TDA will be recruiting the younger gangs.
In Operation Crime and Justice, more questions after Fox 17 News reports a well-known Venezuelan gang is invading Tennessee cities. Now, the TBI used a state budget hearing this week to warn us and state leaders about this. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker shows us how this gang operates and what is being done to protect us.
From human trafficking to retail crime and the drug trade, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation believes that the TDA will soon be part of it all.
Starting in a Venezuelan prison, the TBI says Tren de Aragua is now operating in major U.S. cities, including right here in Tennessee.
They have prison gang connections, so that's a whole different mindset.
Carter Smith with the Criminal Justice Department at MTSU says the larger the gang, the greater the influence, comparing the TDA to MS-13.
They will continue to escalate the violence. They will figure out what they're really, really good at.
On Thursday, we asked the TBI a series of questions, including statewide TDA arrest numbers, as well as a list of the Tennessee cities where the gang has been spotted the most. However, they didn't answer those questions, and instead a TBI spokesperson sent a lengthy statement. They say intelligence suggests the gang mainly remains involved in human trafficking here locally, but they'll likely shift into retail theft and the drug trade next.
Generally speaking, these other gangs will come in, work with the lower level street gangs, and work their way into the drug trafficking, which we anticipate happening with TDA.
With a strong background across the globe, we caught up with this former Border Patrol agent and now current Assistant Special Agent with the Drug Enforcement Administration. Matthew Daly says there are no current cases involving the TDA, but in general, he has noticed greater involvement in the Nashville drug trade.
Our role from DEA's perspective is to take down the entire organization from beginning to end.
Now, the TBI says the TDA is becoming harder to identify because they're becoming less reliant on tattoos, instead urging the public to watch out for warning signs of human trafficking. Now, Agent Daly, who you just heard from with the DEA, he says as far as drug trafficking go, the warning signs to watch out for is constant foot or vehicle traffic, as well as various license plates. For now, reporting in Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
In this week's Full Measure, a whistleblower sounding the alarm on the surge of children illegally crossing the southern border without their parents. One whistleblower says children are falling victim to human traffickers, criminals, and gangs.
Where is the protection to make sure that you are not, as a federal agency, facilitating the trafficking of the child into the hands of somebody who's mistreating them or even a pedophile ring?
And that's the crux of the matter, is that we didn't have that ability.
This week on Full Measure, Cheryl Atkinson takes a closer look at the southern border crisis. You can see more of Cheryl Atkinson's reporting on Full Measure Sunday morning at 7:30 right here on Fox 17.
In Sumner County today, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, flipping the switch, bringing its new data center online up in Gallatin. Company broke ground on this massive complex in 2020. When it's fully built out, it'll be a $1.5 billion investment. You see somebody actually scooting down the hall at such a big place. The data center is creating 100 new jobs. In the past 2 years, Meta has donated more than $1 million to area schools and nonprofits, and today the company announced a new partnership.
Shalom Zone is a vital nonprofit located in Clearview Park, one of Gallatin's most underserved neighborhoods. Meta is helping to restore a historic gym on the Shalom Zone campus through a $250,000 grant.
Nice gift. Tennessee Economic and Community Development Commissioner Stuart McWhorter on hand, joining city and county leaders for the announcement. Governor Lee not there, but he did add a video message.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, we kick off a busy weekend of college football on Fox. UCLA takes on the University of Washington at 8 p.m.
And then on Saturday, we've got a college football triple header for you again. Starts at 11 a.m. Colorado. The Buffaloes taking on the Utah Utes. That'll be followed by the Nebraska Cornhuskers and the USC team at 3 o'clock. Then in prime time, it is Cincinnati taking on Iowa State at 7.
Then on Sunday, Fox 17 has NFL action for you. We have a good afternoon lineup as the Atlanta Falcons take on the Denver Broncos. That game is at 3 p.m.
Things starting to become a little more busy here downtown on Broadway. I love looking at our Broadway camera, especially on Thursday and Friday nights. And we're starting to see more of a crowd here. It's a bit of a cool night, temperature right around 50 degrees. And as we head through the overnight, those mid-40s will be the story for us for the early morning hours. If you like to get up early, maybe do some exercise here, expect mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures are not going to climb too much for tomorrow. We'll be in the upper 40s to low 50s as we head through 10 a.m. Expecting intermittent clouds throughout the day, topping off in the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees as we head through the later half of the afternoon, which is actually seasonal for this time of year. We'll talk more about not only Tropical Storm Sarah that continues to churn in the Caribbean, but what we could expect potentially as far as a big cool snap headed our way. That in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Rescued after spending 9 hours in the rubble. Why first responders had to take their time.
And a display unlike any other that you will find here in the Mid-State. What you need to know about Nashville's Zoolumination.
Making news out of Louisville, Kentucky, where first responders just rescued a worker trapped inside this rubble. This is video showing where crews carefully worked to reach that man. When the building collapsed, he fell 10 to 12 feet. The rubble then fell on top of him. It took emergency crews 9 hours to rescue him.
New tonight, a look at Zoolumination, the exhibit out at the Nashville Zoo. Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Brett Luna has the scoop on just how many lanterns that you will see if you go out there, and a new addition to the display this year.
We're out here at the Nashville Zoo, and this time of year, it just looks awesome out here. So many lights lighting up the night sky. We're talking about the zoo's Zoolumination, and to tell us a little bit more about that, I got Jim Bartu with the zoo right here beside me. And Jim, it just looks amazing out here. How many lanterns do y'all have out here on the property?
You know, it's well over 1,000 lanterns. Some of them small, some of them hanging over your head along the pathways. This massive 40-foot tall structure takes up about a quarter acre. It's called the Dragon's Shrine, and it is obviously the biggest one we have here, but spectacular lanterns like this all over grounds.
Awesome. And I know this year y'all haven't had it before, but the skating rink, tell me a little bit more about that too.
That's right. The Smashville Ice Rink, outdoor ice skating is new this year. Skate along the stars and amongst all the lanterns, and just something exciting to be able to come out here and see. Yeah.
And you think that's going to be a big hit with everybody this year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't like ice skating? Everybody likes ice skating.
Absolutely. And hey everybody, if you want to come out here, it's going to be running until February 9th. Tickets, you can get those online. We're going to have a link to that on our website, fox17.com. Reporting in Nashville, Brett Luna, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Brett, thank you. That looks so good.
I wonder what the electric bill is out there.
I know.
Those lights are so pretty.
I saw them setting them up. We take the boys to the zoo a lot. And they've been setting up for a while, but it looks like, I mean, it is grand in the daytime. So, I'm really interested to see what it looks like at night.
These jackets are putting me in the sort of the holiday spirit. It's like, all right,
I know.
We're there.
Where's the hot chocolate?
Yeah, and it's not, not too bad right now, but it's definitely going to get colder as we head toward the end of next week, it looks like.
It's about that time.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it here coming up.
Well, a popular birth control back in the spotlight, the growing concerns surrounding Paragard.
Tonight in Spotlight on America, growing concerns about a popular birth control device that is used by millions of women. Our team has spent 4 years tracking issues with Paragard IUDs breaking when they're removed.
And as Fox 17 News' Angie Moreski reports, new information shows our Spotlight team's reporting helped propel the FDA to launch an investigation.
Why is this product breaking?
Spotlight on America asked FDA expert Josh Sharlin, who's consulted for FDA-regulated companies for 30 years, to review dozens of pages of these newly obtained documents.
This is one of the broken arms
that reveal never-before-seen details of how the FDA investigated Paragard IUD breakage.
What was your overall reaction after reading these documents?
I really don't understand why FDA is not doing more. What are the design specifications of the device? What testing has there been done to show the amount of force necessary to cause an arm to break off? Nobody knows those numbers.
And you find that shocking?
I find that shocking.
The report also reveals the FDA launched its investigation only after our media inquiry.
It didn't come out intact. One of the T's had snapped off.
When we started reporting on this in 2021, there were more than 3,000 breakage complaints to the FDA's adverse event reporting system. Since then, that number has more than doubled, the majority deemed serious. Even so, the FDA and Cooper Surgical have repeatedly told Spotlight breakage is rare and Paragard is safe. Now, for the first time in these documents, we see FDA safety regulators acknowledge leaving IUD fragments in a woman's uterus has unknown consequences, and device breakage can subject patients to risks and cause anxiety for both patients and healthcare providers. But despite the multiple stories Spotlight did over the past 3.5 years documenting the harm women experienced and our continuing questions, the FDA did not disclose the safety review until this August.
What's the secret? It's a problem. They've identified it. Just let people know so people can be prepared.
Lauren Baker of Vancouver, Washington, is one of the latest patients to contact Spotlight about her experience with Paragard breaking when removed at her doctor's office.
She just looks up at me and goes, "Lauren, oh my God." And then she holds up the broken piece.
Tell me what you're thinking when you see that piece now.
It's got these sort of jagged edges, which first of all is very scary, imagining that jagged piece. I don't know what kind of damage, especially the pain I was having.
The safety review also reveals, despite the spike in breakage complaints, Cooper Surgical claimed there was no significant increase in the number of reports of breakage as a percentage of total reported problems.
If a device is malfunctioning, it needs to be fixed. It's not a numbers game. It's not like it's okay to injure 100 people, but if you injure 101, then you have to do something about it. It doesn't work that way.
While FDA reviewers said a targeted risk analysis would be helpful, the final report shows no request was made and notes the company has implemented no additional controls to address the reported product problems.
In my opinion, they're being lax in not requiring this obviously needed information.
The FDA declined our request for an interview. Spotlight followed up to ask if it is conducting any further reviews or investigations into Paragard breakage. They did not answer that question directly, only saying surveillance continues as it does with all FDA-approved products. Cooper Surgical did not respond to our request for comment. For Spotlight on America, I'm Angie Moreski.
In Montgomery County today, groundbreaking on Clarksville's 4th Kroger store. It's a new Kroger marketplace. City leaders joined Kroger execs turning over the dirt today at the new location on Needmore Road in North Clarksville. Now, because this is a Kroger marketplace, this store will have clothing, appliances, and home goods in addition to food. The new store is set to open late next year.
All right, Katie, that chill is in the air. It's arrived.
Yeah.
And it's not temporary, I don't feel like.
No, we're looking at a bigger cool down, it looks like, going into next week. So you get a little bit of a warm up for the weekend, which is why I've been saying go out and enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah,
Take
but
the
what
kids to the zoo or do something.
I'm like 70 for the weekend.
Which is great for this time of year.
Yeah, right.
As warm as it needs to be.
Yeah. I'll be the bar here.
That's right. You know, this weekend on Saturday, in fact, our college football teams, area teams here, looking pretty good for football. These are all in Central Time. Big matchup, UT taking on Georgia, and our temperature in Georgia at kickoff will be around 60 degrees. Sunshine in Eastern Kentucky as WKU takes on Eastern Kentucky at home. And we'll be looking at TSU at Gardner-Webb and Tennessee Tech at UT Martin. And again, weather's looking great area-wide. Big pattern shift as we head into late week. This is something that we are watching closely here, and there's still a lot of uncertainty between now and then. It's still a week out. Timing is one of those big uncertainties, and then the depth of cold air that we will receive with this big trough coming in is another big question that's up in the air. But it is looking like that we have the potential for the coldest air of the season, maybe our first freeze. In Nashville, we have yet to see a freeze here in town. And then cloudy and breezy days usually accompany these types of upper level patterns. Along with that, we typically find some light showers, and this time of year, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we find some light snow flurries. Not something to get too excited over, but these types of systems sometimes do produce flurries in addition to some light rain showers. Even if temperatures are not at freezing, we can be above freezing and have some of these flurries flying. This is the type of setup where we can see that. So it's not a guarantee. In fact, far from it as far as the flurry activity is concerned, but I am a fairly, or at least a little more confident, we'll call it, for the colder air that is possible. This is the latest from the 8 to 14 day outlook. Now on board with the below average temperature potential as we head through the end of next week. So this is the 22nd through the 28th, even going into the following weekend and early next week. That would be the weekend before Thanksgiving. So at least feeling a little more seasonal and more of the holiday spirit, I'll say, as far as temperatures are concerned. Not as much seasonal, just more into the holiday spirit. Drier than average conditions along with the colder air that we have around for the next 8 to 14 days as well. Let's quickly take a look here at Tropical Storm Sarah, getting ready to make landfall in Honduras. This is going to be rain. As far as we're concerned here in Honduras, they're looking at 10, maybe 20 inches of rain. Very difficult conditions, weather conditions there, again, all associated mainly with the rain. So it's a tropical storm. The main threats here are going to be those mudslides and flash flooding that'll occur throughout portions of Central America here. Expected to become a tropical depression as it continues to make additional landfalls. But notice as we head into the next, I would say, early part of next week, we're looking at Tuesday into Wednesday, where it's possible it reemerges out here into the Gulf of Mexico with the potential impact of some sort in Florida. It's not a guarantee at this point, but it is something that we are watching as far as possible impact in Florida. 60 our temperature for tomorrow. We're at 66 for Saturday and up to 70 for the end of the weekend. But you can definitely see the colder air arriving as we head towards Thursday next week.
Taking the pulse of Nashville, how many say they feel unsafe.
And no need to fear. We'll tell you what's behind all the first responders tonight out at the Nashville International Airport.
I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. The IRS announcing changes this week that they say could save you more money for retirement. What those changes are and how you could make the most of the changes, we're going to explain everything Friday on Fox 17 News This Morning.
Community tonight, results of a new survey by the Nashville Police and Public Safety Alliance shows that, get this, 73% of locals, 73% say they feel like Nashville is less safe than it was some 5 years ago. Now, 54% say they feel that Nashville, as we say, less safe than 5 years ago. 69% though have well, let's see, I've got that wrong. Let me see. Roll that back. 69% say less safe. I don't want you to get the wrong idea. 54%, can we roll that back? I'm getting all of these numbers wrong, and I want to share the right information with you. 73% of the locals said they were surveyed, say they feel very or somewhat safe here. That's important, very or somewhat safe. 54%, however, say they feel that Nashville is less safe than it was 5 years ago. Now, 69% say they view the Metro Police Department favorably, so they got a good shake from the cops. Who feels the less safe? Well, Hermitage residents feel the least safe among those surveyed. 36% saying they feel somewhat or very unsafe. Now, if you'd like to see the full survey for yourself, because again, there's a lot of numbers there, go to our website, fox17.com, and search Public Safety Survey.
Not a crisis in the classroom. A Crossville teacher facing charges after officers say he threatened students. Crossville police say 56-year-old James Green made the threats in a classroom of 14 students at Stone Memorial High School yesterday. He's charged with reckless endangerment. The Cumberland County School Board has suspended Green, and he's been banned from all school property. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in our schools and finding solutions. If you have a story you think that we should cover, send us an email to news@fox17.com or call our tip line at 615-266-4149.
Just ahead, a lot of lights out there, but no emergency. The important training underway tonight at Nashville International Airport. Happening now, emergency crews are taking over parts of the Nashville airport. A lot of splash out there, but it's not an emergency.
Well, it's just a training exercise. The bomb squad and the airport's public safety team are running drills near the A and B concourses until 11 o'clock tonight. Thankfully, though, it's not going to impact flights.